All right, what's happening, sports fans? This is the smallest baseball slate of the year. So, just to give you guys a quick heads up on what's going, this is the only video for the baseball slate. There's only two games on it, and there's no write up for baseball. We don't do write up for two game slates. This is one of the weirdest Mondays, but real baseball is back tomorrow.
Yeah, this is one of the only times where we'll actually even make a video for a two-game slate. So enjoy it. It's just what we got today. I'm sure we'll have like a 15 or we'll have at least 12 games tomorrow, I would imagine.
Yeah, I haven't looked to see how many like early starts there are, but it's a double digit day tomorrow, so we'll get after that one. As far as this slate goes, look, man, like Alzolay is in a bad spot, right? Against San Diego, they were very, very good. The flip side of that is like, where else are you going for starting pitching? I mean, I like this kid. We've been talking about him all season long. Love that .92 whip right there. He's doing a great job of, pretty consistently not walking guys. I know he had 3 against Cincy. He's a decent strikeout pitcher. He's got good stuff. I don't want to throw him in San Diego, but where else are you going to go?
Yeah, this is definitely one where you can use some San Diego bats with Alzolay, like for sure. So I think you just play Alzolay, and if you like San Diego bats, you can play some of them with him.
For sure. So what about your favorite pitcher, Dylan Bundy?
I mean, it's kind of the same points as Alzolay, right? Like you got to play someone. This slate is just awful because
It's
I don't
terrible.
I don't really see how you can play Weathers or the guy from KC. So I do think this is a slate you could get weird and play a reliever. I mean, I don't even think taking a zero from your pitcher is going to kill you at all.
I mean, I guess so. Bundy's a higher upside play. He's got more strikeout upside. Weathers is, he did throw 88 pitches the other day, so I mean, I'll give him that. He's a good pitcher. I can make the argument for Weathers over Bundy if you think Bundy like gets blown up. Like if you want to stack Dylan Bundy, like I know you can't get that thing about Bundy against KC out of your mind too, right?
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about that.
Not that what happened to Dylan Bundy in the first inning 3 years ago makes any difference for tonight, but if for those of you who don't remember, there was I think it was a chalk Bundy night. Wasn't he chalky too?
I don't know how chalky he was, but I definitely owned him, and this was 4 years ago because Maisie, I was at a training thing for Maisie, like when we first got her. So go ahead.
Yeah, Bundy gave up 5 home runs to the Royals in the first inning that day and got lit up like Carlos Martinez against the Dodgers the other night.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say this, like, man, I was talking bad about Jackson Kowar. His across 6 starts in AAA Omaha, he's got a .85 ERA, 41 to 10 K to walk ratio. Like, I mean, yeah, he is in play actually.
I mean, the only thing I know about Jackson Kowar is what it says right down here. I don't know if you know anything about how he is supposed to or transcendent. No, what's the word I'm looking for? How he's supposed to play at this level. Like, is this a guy who's supposed to be good, or is he just having a nice year at AAA this year?
I'm not positive, but it does seem like I've heard his name mentioned before. The Royals have some hope for him, and he's still young-ish, 24. Yeah, I mean, especially again, big time wild card. I think you could definitely stack against him too. The Angels look appealing, but he's in play. I mean, any pitcher that's going to pitch on this slate's in play.
Again, do you think the chalk build is going to be Alzolay Bundy because those are the two guys with name recognition?
Yeah, definitely. And I'll say this, like Kolar's another one. Like, you could easily use him and a couple Angels bats. I doubt he's going to have the longest leash in the world. Maybe he goes 5 strong innings, and then the Angels have, just like Cincinnati, one of the worst bullpens in baseball. And saw it with St. Louis yesterday. Really get to that Cardinals bullpen. I could see the Angels doing the same thing here.
Okay, so this is a day I don't mind being a little bit different. I mean, like I think if Alzolay Bundy is the chalk build, and the only thing here is like I like Alzolay. I think he's a nice pitcher, but pitching in San Diego is not easy.
I did misspeak. Kolar obviously pitches for KC, so you'd be getting into their bullpen, which is not as bad as the Angels, but not good.
Okay. I'm thinking about stacking against Bundy, who's been all types of terrible lately. Just because I do assume he's going to get pretty good love on this one and taking some chance on the other pitchers. He was a little better the other day, but he still gave up 3 home runs.
He was a little bit better the other day. He has been really off, though. I didn't even realize he gave up 3 home runs. Damn. He started off good. If he's going to be chalk, yeah, I'm with you. This isn't
So
really a slate though, like because no pitcher is really that expensive either. Like you can like I think bottom of the order guys are going to be like unowned basically.
yeah, and for those of you who don't play as much, and you play the top two pitchers, you're still rolling with almost 4,300 per offensive guy. So like, for example, like Chris Bryant probably gets sandwiched into a bunch of people's lineups because you can afford him. He's against a lefty, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Okay, so taking a chance on somebody who's not as good, because most of the hitters on the slate aren't
Even like
as good as Chris Bryant.
like Jason Hayward or Ian Happ even. I mean, Ian Happ's going to get much lower ownership as like a one-off. But like especially a guy like Hayward. I mean, yeah. Especially if I like slates like this because you can really get different in baseball and it doesn't take that much. This particular one is tricky.
Yeah, for this one, I already know that I'm not going to play for much money on the MLB slate today. Not that I'm a big money player to begin with, but like I'm not going to play for much here. But what I am doing, I'm going to get weird with it. No doubt about it. I'm probably going to throw some of the lesser pitchers. I'm probably going to get a bunch of San Diego bats because I assume Alzolay will be highly, highly owned. And that doesn't mean Alzolay is out of play because he could get 14 today, give up some runs, the bullpen gets it, and his 14 could be the highest total for any pitcher on the slate.
I'm slates like this, especially like this one in particular, definitely use a couple of hitters against your pitcher.
Yeah, because people go so far the opposite end of the spectrum. Like,
Yeah.
There's a good opportunity today that only one pitcher gets double digits, and it's not impossible that none of them do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like Ryan Weathers, whose pitch count is on the rise, and the Cubs are the highest strikeout team, I believe, left on the slate. I know it's not San Diego or Kansas City. Like Ryan Weathers, he dropped 17 on Milwaukee the other day with 78 pitches. Like if he pitches well today, and he's got good stuff, drops 14 today. I mean, that could beat the other pitchers, and he's not a great play on paper at all.
No, I'm with you. I have no arguments.
So I think more than anything, I want to get weird. I do want to double check ownership percentages at the end of the day. I'm assuming these two pitchers get the most amount of love, but I want to get weird with it today. It makes me want to throw this rookie just because I'm assuming everybody's going to try to pick on him.
I get all that.
Do you think Ohtani then is huge chalk?
I would assume so, yeah, because you can easily afford him.
And look, on paper, Ohtani is one of the best plays on this slate, but this is all about just getting different on a slate where just the overwhelming ownership percentages in a guy like Ohtani. And Ohtani's good, but that doesn't mean he has to be good today.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a slate I could easily see myself leaving like 5,000 on the table. Salaries irrelevant.
For sure. More than other MLB slates, play the ownership percentages today. Get a little weird with it in your GPPs. You only need it to work out for this one day. And if that means you play for smaller dollars than normal, do it. Like Hunter Dozier versus Whit Merrifield. Because you can afford Whit Merrifield, what's the ownership discrepancy on this one? Like 3 times, 4 times, 5 times?
Yeah, something like that, 100%. And I'll say this, like, I don't know, another guy, just thinking about offensively that I like a lot. I'm not sure how much I'll get. Patrick Wisdom. This guy has absolutely just torn it up since getting called up.
So you're thinking conventional wisdom is the play of wisdom?
I mean, Cueto had only allowed 1 homer going into yesterday. He homered twice off Cueto. Mash his lefties.
I mean, he's got 7 home runs, and I have to assume that his total at bats on the year ain't very high. So he's having a nice little run. He's hot right now.
That's baseball, right? Like, sure, this will fall off, but he's in another decent spot tonight. I mean, I agree with your Weathers points, but I'm also not afraid to pick on Weathers on this slate.
I'm not afraid to pick on any of these pitchers.
Yeah.
I like Alzolay, but San Diego is still a better offense than Alzolay is professional pitcher.
Yeah, I feel like Alzolay also has like probably a not great start coming, but I like him. So I'm like, he's definitely my favorite pitching option on this slate.
I'm with it, man. Specific plays, not so much. I want to be as different as possible on the slate because it doesn't take that much to beat that. And that could be like 3 San Diego bats against Alzolay, who, again, we both really like him. We've watched a bunch of him this year. I like his stuff. I like the way the ball moves out of his hand. And honestly, like most of these starts, even earlier in the year when he was giving up 2-3 runs in every single start, like it was all one inning. He was pretty dominant for 4 or 5 innings in most of these starts.
Yeah, I remember talking about that.
Yeah, we said during all these 15 to 18-point games that he was having that the 20-point games are coming real soon. He's just got to eliminate one bad inning, which are often a byproduct of younger pitchers, right? Those are super, super common. But with that being said, like he does have a blow-up start coming eventually. He hasn't given me much to believe it's coming, though.
Well, I don't know what else I really like about using San Diego bats against Alzolay.
No.
They run a ton, and that doesn't hurt the pitcher. So, I mean, they've got by far the most stolen bases in the big leagues, and that doesn't hurt your pitcher. So that's a great way to get points, using a Pham or Tatis. Hopefully they just reach, steal, get a couple steals. They don't even have to score to be good.
Now, Tatis will be popular because it's a 2-game slate and he's the biggest name on here. But outside of that, I don't think the San Diego bats will be over the top popular.
Same.
Yeah, because I think Tatis is the one-off people will use because they can afford him and because he's all types of amazing. But like the Eric Hosmers, stuff like that, even like a Machado probably. Machado's pretty cheap.
Yeah, agree. Machado will get some love, but like, I don't know. People are going to use Alzolay. So like, Rendon, Wisdom are going to get more love. Hunter Dozer's definitely going to be left out there. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough slate to navigate through, I guess.
Yeah, for a smaller one especially. Traded away Rendon today in a year-long league.
Really? What'd you get for in return?
Zach Wheeler. I was not desperate for corner people. Like I have Justin Turner as a third baseman already, and I got like Luke Voigt and stuff like that on the IL. So I have corner infielders, but just desperate for pitching. Like a bunch of the pitchers I had got hurt. So I like Rendon overall better than Wheeler, but I needed some SPs with strikeout upside.
Would you rather have dealt Rendon or Turner?
I'd rather deal Turner, even though his numbers are better this year. I expect more from Rendon for the rest of the season, but that trade wasn't on the table.
Yeah, it's a fair deal, I think.
Yeah.
Wheeler's been very good.
Yeah, 1v1. I still like Rendon a little bit more for the rest of the year, even though he hasn't had a great start. We're starting to see some of it right now, but sometimes you're just a victim of what you need. And I was not strong on pitching to start the year, and now with like Flaherty on the IL, like my only good starter is Max.
You're not going to get like that type of starter for Rendon either.
No, so I thought it was one of those trades, and this is fine in fantasy. It works for both parties.
Definitely. That's how it should be.
Yeah, again, you're not always, and this is something that's been hard to get across to people in year-long fantasy. Like, trades can be mutually advantageous. When you're playing in a roto league or a head-to-head counting league or whatever it might be, and you need a specific category, like, trades can work for both people.
100%.
Right now, the Trae Young, Luka Doncic trade's working for everybody.
Yeah, this is true. Good call.
Man, what do you think? You give Atlanta any chance to beat Philly in this series? Great game one for them.
I mean, I think you got to give them at least a chance because they won game one in Philly. I don't think they will, but yeah, it's not like Philly's like, it's not like Philly's got the history of LeBron James or something like that. For
sure. And I think we were talking about this the other day. I know we're off of baseball for a second, but that's all right. I was more thinking the Knicks were playing terrible, but this might be a byproduct of Atlanta's a whole new team with Bogdanovich playing at a higher level now.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, under the new coach McMillan, they've played significantly better defense.
Yeah, like Collins and Capella inside's working. They've got good players up and down, like Hunter. They haven't even had Cam Reddish, Herder. Like, they're talented. They're talented
too.
Pay off. Yeah.
Like, for most teams, even though he's not what he once was, Lou Williams would be getting off the bench. Like, Lou Williams isn't even a factor right now.
They just don't have, like, the reason I don't think they'll beat Philly is because, as good as Trae Young is, like, Philly has the next 3 best players in the series.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I agree. The NBA doesn't want Atlanta winning either, right? Like, they're going to want Philly in there, just more name recognition. I
said that wrong because Embiid's still better than Trae Young. And you could still say Simmons and him are, like, equal. So is Trae Young the second or third best player in the series? He's definitely not the best.
Oh, for sure. Would you rather have, if I had told you right now, Matt, you're a GM, and you get the opportunity to build your team around Trae Young or Ben Simmons, who are you taking?
That's a really, really good one. Man, they're both elite in like what they do. I think before this year, it would have been easy to say Ben Simmons, but he still can't shoot. Trae is younger now in the second round of the playoffs, up 1-0. That's a really good question.
I think I would take Trae Young.
I still lean Simmons, I think, but I just think that you could build around Simmons so easily, where Trae Young is just who he is. It's a great question, though.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, we'll get back to baseball. We talked NBA already. That's my bad. I totally flipped the script on that one. So, again, just to kind of reiterate on this one, it's a small slate. We both want to get weird with it. You usually like getting weird with it, but Alzolay and Bundy probably will be really, really highly owned because you can afford them. They have name recognition. I'm all about trying to get different on this one, so I'll probably pitch this kid and just hope for the best.
I get that, man. Still haven't decided exactly where I'm going to go yet, but it's going to involve, using some bottom of the lineups, leaving money on the table. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's the theme of the day. Get little weird with it because you don't have to. Like when you get too weird with it on a 14-game slate, the problem is you have to beat all these teams in better spots. Today, you only have to, if you skip Ohtani, you just need Ohtani to have a bad day because he's going to be overwhelming chalk today. And going with Taylor Ward even or something like that, like Profar, one of these guys, you just need him to be better for one day.
For sure. And it's not that hard. I mean, one of those guys could get up with multiple men on base. Ohtani could get up with no one on base. I mean, yesterday I was thinking about this. I used Vlad once and I was watching that game. 0-1 count to Vlad. The second pitch was a whole baseball outside. None of it was touching the box. And he got called a strike. The next pitch or two pitches later, he swung at ball 3. It's little stuff like that can really affect your whole day from a DFS perspective because you only get 4 at bats a lot of times.
No doubt about it, guys. So the more I think about it, Ohtani and Justin Upton, maybe even Walsh as well, and Rendon are all going to be, I would assume. Don't you think the Angels are real popular here?
I think the Angels are real popular, but I'm sure. I imagine the Angels are the most popular team on the slate.
Okay, so I just want to. I don't think it's crazy that they blow up and I'm sitting there at a big fat 0. I just think the idea of using the pitcher against them and fading them only has to work out for today. And it's not like the Angels are a good baseball team.
I agree with that. The other point I'll say is the bottom of the Angels lineup is not going to be owned because people would, as much as they like the Angels, people would still rather use Whit Merrifield, even against the pitcher they're using, than Taylor Ward if they have the money.
No doubt about it, because everybody that's expensive today, Whit Merrifield, Chris Bryant, Ohtani, expensive in places that seem all right on paper. These guys are all going to be crazy high owned, and maybe you just don't play all 3 of them because they're all going to get a lot of love.
And if I'm going with the Angels, I would just stack them hard through and through.
Yeah, exactly. So cool. We just thought we'd just give some brief, game script theory for tonight and kind of go through it like that. So best of luck today.
Thanks, guys.